Welcome to the channel Error Coins Hub, and let me ask you something that might just change your entire day. What if the loose change rattling around in your pocket, the coins you mindlessly hand over at the grocery store, the nickels you barely glance at before tossing into a jar, what if one of those ordinary, seemingly worthless pieces of metal could actually be worth $6 million? I'm not talking about ancient gold coins locked away in museums or pirate treasure buried on some remote island. I'm talking about a 1999 nickel, a coin that was minted just over 2 decades ago, a coin that millions of Americans have probably held in their hands without giving it a second thought, a coin so common-looking that you'd never suspect it could make you a millionaire overnight. Most people spend this coin every single day without realizing it could quite literally buy them a mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, or financial freedom for the rest of their lives. And the craziest part? This fortune is hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows exactly what to look for. Now, before we dive deep into what makes this particular 1999 nickel worth an absolutely staggering $6 million, let me tell you right now, this is just the beginning, because after I reveal everything about this incredible coin, we're going to talk about another nickel from 2015 that'll blow your mind even further. And trust me when I say that what happened with that coin is so unexpected, so remarkable that collectors around the world are still talking about it today. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So stick with me until the very end, because you're about to learn secrets that could genuinely transform your financial future. All right, let's get into it. The 1999 nickel, with a verified auction record and estimated collector value reaching up to $6 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $6 million for a 5-cent piece. How is this even possible, you might be wondering? Well, the answer lies in one of the most fascinating mint errors in modern American numismatic history. An error so rare, so visually striking, and so highly sought after that when one of these coins surfaces at auction, it sends shockwaves through the entire collecting community. The United States Mint in Philadelphia, denoted by that little P mint mark, produced hundreds of millions of regular Jefferson nickels in 1999, standard coins that circulated normally and are worth exactly 5 cents today. But among those hundreds of millions of ordinary nickels, a tiny handful, and I mean tiny, we're talking potentially fewer than 10 known examples, were struck with a catastrophic and spectacular minting error that turned them into numismatic royalty overnight. The specific error we're talking about here is what collectors call a double denomination error combined with a wrong planchet error, which means that the dies intended for nickels somehow came into contact with planchets, those blank metal discs that were meant for a completely different denomination, and in the most valuable cases, these nickel dies struck dime planchets or even quarter planchets, creating a coin that displays the design of a nickel but has the size, weight, and edge characteristics of a different coin entirely. Imagine holding what looks like a nickel in your hand, seeing Thomas Jefferson's profile on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, but then you flip it over and realize something is terribly, wonderfully wrong. The coin is smaller than it should be or larger, the edges don't look quite right, the color might be slightly different because the metal composition doesn't match, and suddenly you're holding something that shouldn't exist, something that represents a perfect storm of errors at one of the most technologically advanced mints in the world. Now, you might be thinking, how does something like this even happen? The US Mint has incredibly strict quality control procedures, multiple checkpoints, advanced machinery, and eagle-eyed inspectors whose entire job is to catch errors before they leave the facility. So how do these coins slip through? The truth is, mint errors occur through a combination of mechanical failure, human oversight, and sometimes just pure chaos on the production floor. Maybe a bin of wrong planchets got mixed with the correct ones, maybe an employee loaded the wrong blanks into a hopper, maybe a machine malfunctioned at exactly the wrong moment, or maybe, just maybe, the mint was rushing to meet production quotas and someone wasn't paying close enough attention. Whatever the cause, these mistakes happen, and when they do, they create numismatic legends. The 1999p nickel struck on a wrong planchet is the stuff of collector dreams because it combines multiple elements that drive value through the roof. It's a modern error, which means it's recent enough that people are actively searching for it in circulation. It's a major error that's immediately visible even to untrained eyes. It's from the Philadelphia Mint, which adds prestige, and most importantly, it's insanely rare with potentially fewer verified examples than you have fingers on your hands. When you consider that millions of people around the world collect coins, that the hobby spans every continent and includes everyone from casual enthusiasts to billionaire investors, and that only a handful of these error nickels are known to exist, you start to understand why the prices climb so astronomically high. Supply and demand, my friends. When you have enormous demand and almost zero supply, values go crazy. The first known specimen of this error was discovered completely by accident, as most great finds are, when a sharp-eyed collector was going through rolls of nickels looking for varieties and suddenly stopped dead in their tracks, heart pounding, hands shaking, because they realized they were holding something that could change their life forever. That collector immediately sent the coin to a professional grading service, one of the major authentication companies like PCGS or NGC, and when the experts examined it under magnification, verified the weight, measured the diameter, analyzed the metal composition, and compared it against thousands of known errors in their databases, they confirmed what the collector already suspected. This was the real deal, an authentic mint error of extraordinary rarity and significance. The coin was encapsulated in a protective holder, given a grade based on its condition, and assigned a special designation noting the error type, and from that moment forward, its value began climbing higher and higher as word spread through the numismatic community. Auction houses started receiving frantic calls from collectors wanting to know when the next example would come up for sale. Dealers began offering insane amounts of money for even the possibility of acquiring one, and the legend of the 1999p error nickel grew and grew until it reached the stratosphere where only the most elite coins dwell. Now let's talk about what you should actually be looking for if you want to find one of these treasures. First, you need to understand what a normal 1999p nickel looks like so you can spot the differences. A standard Jefferson nickel has a diameter of 21.21 millimeters, weighs 5 grams, and has a smooth edge because it's made from a copper-nickel-clad composition. So when you're examining your nickels, you're looking for anything that deviates from these specifications. Does the coin feel lighter or heavier than normal? Is it noticeably smaller or larger in diameter? Does it have a reeded edge like a dime when it should be smooth? Is the color slightly off, perhaps more silvery or coppery than a typical nickel? These are the red flags that should make you stop everything you're doing and investigate further. Get yourself a good magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Invest in a precision scale that can measure down to tenths of a gram. Buy a set of calipers to measure diameter accurately, and compare any suspicious coins against known good examples. The devil is in the details, and with coins potentially worth millions of dollars, you can't afford to miss those details. Beyond the wrong planchet errors, there are other valuable varieties of 1999p nickels to watch for. Some examples show dramatic die cracks, which are raised lines on the coin caused by breaks in the die. Others display doubling on the date or lettering caused by the die shifting slightly between strikes, and still others have off-center strikes where the design isn't properly centered on the planchet. While these errors won't fetch $6 million, they can still be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to the right collector. So nothing should be dismissed without careful examination. The 1999 date itself holds special significance in numismatics because it was the last full year before the new millennium, a time when people were saving coins as millennium souvenirs, hoarding them in anticipation of Y2K computer failures, and generally paying more attention to their pocket change than usual, yet somehow these incredible error nickels still managed to slip into circulation unnoticed. It's a testament to how easy it is to overlook fortune when you're not actively searching for it, when you're rushing through your day, when you accept the world at face value instead of questioning and examining and wondering what secrets might be hiding just beneath the surface. The story of the 1999 error nickel also highlights the incredible expertise and dedication of the numismatic community. These coins weren't discovered by mint employees or bank tellers or cashiers handling thousands of coins every day. They were found by collectors, people who love coins so much that they're willing to spend hours sorting through rolls, examining each piece under magnification, weighing and measuring and comparing, all in the hope of finding that one special coin that makes it all worthwhile. And when they do find it, when they hold that error coin in their hands for the first time, the feeling is indescribable. It's joy, shock, disbelief, excitement, fear, all mixed together in a potent emotional cocktail that only fellow collectors can truly understand. Now, let's talk about the practical side of things. If you think you've found one of these error nickels, what should you do? First, do not clean it under any circumstances. I cannot stress this enough. Cleaning a coin, even if you think you're being gentle, can destroy its numismatic value instantly because collectors and grading services want to see coins in their original, unaltered state. The patina, the toning, even the dirt and grime, all of that is considered part of the coin's history and authenticity. So resist the urge to make it shiny and pretty because you could be scrubbing away thousands of dollars. Second, handle the coin by its edges only. Never touch the surfaces with your bare fingers because the oils from your skin can cause permanent damage over time. Third, store the coin in a safe place, preferably in a soft holder or between pieces of non-PVC plastic, and keep it away from extreme temperatures, moisture, and anything that could scratch or dent it. Fourth, and this is crucial, get the coin authenticated and graded by a reputable third-party grading service like PCGS, NGC, or Annex. These companies have expert numismatists who've seen thousands upon thousands of error coins, they have access to advanced testing equipment, and they can definitively tell you whether your coin is genuine or not. Yes, there's a fee for their services, usually between $30 and $100 depending on the coin's value and the turnaround time you want. But it's worth every penny because a certified authentic error coin in a professional holder will always command a higher price than a raw, uncertified coin, no matter how genuine it is. The grading process involves multiple levels of verification. The coin is first examined under magnification to check for signs of alteration or counterfeiting. Then it's weighed and measured to confirm it matches the specifications of the claimed error type. Then it's compared against reference collections and databases, and finally, if it passes all these tests, it's assigned a numerical grade from 1 to 70 based on its condition, with 70 being absolutely perfect and 1 being barely identifiable. For error coins, the grade can significantly impact value. A 1999 wrong planchet nickel in MS65 condition, which means it has minimal contact marks and strong luster, might be worth substantially less than the same error in MS68 or MS69 condition, even though the error itself is identical, because collectors who are paying top dollar want the best possible example they can find. The auction history of these coins reads like a thriller novel. I've heard stories of bidding wars at major auctions where two wealthy collectors got into an ego battle over a single coin, driving the price up by hundreds of thousands of dollars beyond any reasonable estimate, simply because neither wanted to lose to the other. I've heard about private sales where coins changed hands for undisclosed sums, transactions conducted in hushed tones through intermediaries, money wired to offshore accounts, all for the privilege of owning a unique piece of numismatic history. The wealthy elite who collect these coins, they're not just buying metal, they're buying bragging rights, they're buying the satisfaction of owning something that almost nobody else can have. They're buying a tangible connection to a moment in time when everything went perfectly wrong at the mint and created something magnificent. And here's something that should really make your heart race. Experts believe that there are almost certainly more of these error nickels still out there. sitting in change jars, tucked away in old collections, mixed in with regular coins in someone's drawer, just waiting to be discovered. Think about how many 1999p nickels were minted. Think about how they scattered across the entire country. Think about how many have never been examined closely by someone who knows what to look for, and you start to realize that the next $6 million discovery could be made by anyone, including you. That's the beautiful, intoxicating possibility that keeps collectors searching year after year. That drives people to buy rolls of nickels from their local bank and sort through them one by one. That inspires numismatic treasure hunters to check every piece of change they receive, because they know that lightning can strike, that miracles do happen, and that fortune favors those who actually look. The 1999p error nickel represents everything that's exciting about coin collecting. It's accessible because nickels are everywhere. It's affordable to search because you're just going through regular pocket change. It's dramatic because the error is obvious once you know what to look for. And it's potentially life-changing because finding even one of these coins could set you up financially for years to come. But remember, this is just the first coin we're talking about today. And while $6 million is an absolutely mind-blowing amount of money for a nickel, what I'm about to tell you next will prove that the numismatic world is even crazier than you imagined. That 2015p nickel I mentioned at the beginning? The story behind that coin involves a discovery so recent that people are still trying to process it. An error so unusual that even veteran collectors were scratching their heads. And a value that'll make you want to search through every nickel you can get your hands on. The journey through rare nickels doesn't end here. In fact, we're just getting started. And trust me when I say that if you stick around for what's coming next, you'll understand why some people become absolutely obsessed with coin collecting, why they dedicate their entire lives to the pursuit of these metallic treasures, and why they're willing to pay prices that seem absolutely insane to outsiders but make perfect sense when you understand the rarity, the history, the prestige, and the pure thrill of the hunt. So take a deep breath. Let everything I've just told you about the 1999p nickel sink in. Imagine what you do with $6 million. Picture yourself being the lucky person who makes the next major discovery. And then get ready because the 2015p nickel story is going to take everything you thought you knew about error coins and flip it completely on its head. Last, the 2015p 5 cent, and if you thought the 1999p nickel was remarkable, what I'm about to reveal will absolutely stun you because this coin, minted just a few years ago, a coin so recent that you probably handled one within the last month, has reached values of $2.4 million at auction, and the reason why is both simple and extraordinary at the same time. Let me set the stage here. We're talking about 2015, a year when everyone had smartphones, when digital payments were becoming common, when many people rarely even used physical cash anymore, and yet the US Mint was still producing billions of coins for circulation, including hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels from the Philadelphia facility. These nickels looked absolutely normal to the untrained eye. They featured the same Thomas Jefferson portrait that's been on the obverse since 1938, the same Monticello design on the reverse that's been there for decades, and they circulated by the millions into banks, stores, vending machines, and people's pockets without anyone giving them a second glance. But hidden among those millions of ordinary nickels was something spectacular, something that would eventually make headlines in numismatic publications around the world and send collectors into an absolute frenzy. The 2015p nickel error that commands these astronomical prices is what's known as a full brockage error, and let me explain why this is so incredibly special and rare. A brockage occurs when a freshly struck coin fails to eject properly from the coin press and remains stuck to one of the dies. And then when the next blank planchet enters the press for striking, instead of being struck by the normal die on one side, it gets struck by the die on one side and by the stuck coin on the other side, which creates a mirror image of the design. Imagine picking up a nickel and seeing Thomas Jefferson's portrait on one side as normal, but then you flip it over and instead of seeing Monticello, you see another Thomas Jefferson portrait, but it's reversed. It's like looking at a reflection in a mirror with all the details backwards and slightly flattened, and you realize you're holding something that shouldn't exist. something that represents a catastrophic failure of the minting process. Now, brockage themselves aren't unheard of in numismatics. They happen occasionally across various denominations and eras, but what makes the 2015 P-nickel brockage so incredibly valuable is the combination of factors that came together perfectly. First, it's a full brockage, meaning the mirror image covers nearly the entire surface of the coin with exceptional clarity. Second, it's on a modern coin from a year when people were supposedly paying attention to quality control. Third, and this is huge, the condition of the discovered specimens is phenomenal, with some grading at MS67 or even MS68, which means they somehow escaped circulation completely unscathed. And fourth, the sheer drama and visual impact of the error makes it instantly recognizable and absolutely captivating to collectors. When the first example of this error was authenticated and announced to the numismatic world, social media exploded with activity. Coin forums crashed from the traffic surge. Dealers started blowing up each other's phones trying to locate specimens or verify if the reports were true, and overnight, every single person who'd been casually collecting nickels suddenly became obsessed with checking every 2015 P they could find. The discovery story itself is the stuff of legends. According to the reports that circulated through the collecting community, the coin was found by an individual who wasn't even a serious collector, just someone who happened to notice that one of the nickels in their change looked weird, different, wrong somehow, and instead of shrugging it off or assuming it was damaged, they decided to investigate. They did some Google searches, they posted photos on a coin forum, and within hours experts were telling them that they might be holding a fortune in their hands. Can you imagine that moment? Can you picture the absolute shock, the disbelief, the rush of adrenaline when you realize that the weird nickel you almost spent on a candy bar is actually worth more than most people make in their entire lifetime? That's the dream that keeps collectors going. That's the possibility that makes the hobby so addictive. And that's exactly what happened with this 2015 P brockage nickel. The authentication process for this coin was particularly intense because the value was so high and because brockages can sometimes be faked by artificially striking a coin with another coin. So the grading services put it through extensive testing. They examined it under high-powered microscopes looking for tool marks or signs of artificial striking. They analyzed the flow of the metal to ensure it matched what would occur in a genuine press brockage. They verified that the mirror image showed the exact details of a 2015 P-nickel die in reverse. They checked for proper die rotation and alignment, and they subjected it to spectroscopy to confirm the metal composition matched other 2015 P-nickels from the mint. Only after passing all of these tests, only after multiple experts had independently verified the coin, only then was it certified as a genuine mint error and encapsulated in a holder with a special designation noting the brockage. The $2.4 million valuation comes from a combination of actual auction results and expert appraisals. When the first specimen came to auction, bidding started at a relatively modest 5 figures, but as collectors and investors realized just how rare this error was, the price climbed rapidly, crossing 6 figures, then 7 figures, with bidders from around the world competing via phone, internet, and in person for the chance to own this incredible piece. The final hammer price shocked even seasoned auction veterans who'd seen plenty of expensive coins sell in their careers, and in the aftermath, dealers and collectors began reassessing whether that price was justified or if it was just auction fever driving things to irrational heights. But as more specimens failed to appear, as months and then years went by with only a tiny handful of confirmed examples, the consensus emerged that maybe, just maybe, that price wasn't so crazy after all. Think about the mathematics of rarity here. The Philadelphia Mint struck something like 400 million nickels in 2015, and out of that enormous production run, maybe 5 to 10 full brockage examples are known to exist, which means the survival rate is approximately 1 in 40 to 80 million. Those are odds that make winning the lottery look easy by comparison. Those are odds that explain why collectors are willing to pay such extraordinary sums. Because they understand that if they don't buy the coin when they have the chance, they may never get another opportunity. The 2015p brockage nickel also represents a fascinating window into the modern minting process and how errors can still occur despite all our advanced technology. The Philadelphia Mint uses state-of-the-art coin presses capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute. They have automated systems for feeding planchets and ejecting finished coins. They have cameras and sensors monitoring every step of the process, and yet somehow, for whatever reason, a coin got stuck in the die, remained there long enough to strike another planchet, and then somehow the resulting error coin made it past all the quality control checkpoints and into circulation. Some numismatists speculate that the error occurred during a die change or maintenance period when automated safeguards might have been temporarily disabled. Others think it happened during a rush to meet production quotas when inspectors might not have been as thorough as usual, and still others believe it was just pure random chance, a perfect storm of small failures that aligned at exactly the right moment to create something magnificent. Whatever the cause, the result is a coin that tells a story, a coin that captures a moment of chaos and transforms it into beauty, a coin that reminds us that even in our modern, controlled, computerized world, nature and chance can still produce surprises. Now, let's talk about what you should be looking for if you want to find one of these 2015p brockage nickels in your own change. The key characteristic is that mirror image on one side of the coin, so instead of seeing Monticello on the reverse, you'll see Jefferson's portrait again but backwards, or instead of seeing Jefferson on the obverse, you might see a backwards Monticello depending on which die the brockage occurred on. The image will appear somewhat flattened or mushy compared to a normal strike because the stuck coin doesn't have the same rigidity as a steel die. But all the major design elements should still be clearly visible, just reversed. The lettering will be backwards, the date will be backwards, everything will be a mirror image, and once you know what to look for, it's actually quite easy to spot because it looks so different from a normal coin. Beyond the full brockage, there are also partial brockages where only a portion of the design is mirrored, and while these don't command the same stratospheric prices as full brockages, they can still be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars depending on how dramatic the error is and what condition the coin is in. Some 2015p nickels also show other error types including off-center strikes, where the design is shifted away from the center of the planchet leaving blank areas, die cracks that create raised lines across the design, struck through errors where debris was on the planchet during striking leaving indentations or voids in the design, and double strikes where the coin was struck multiple times creating overlapping images. Each of these errors has its own appeal to collectors. Each tells its own story about what went wrong during the minting process, and each can be valuable in its own right, though none approach the insane values of the full brockage. The psychological impact of knowing that a $2.4 million coin could be lurking in your pocket change is powerful, and it's transformed the way many people interact with their money. There are folks who now examine every nickel they receive, who buy rolls of 2015p nickels from their bank and go through them coin by coin, who've invested in magnifying equipment and coin albums specifically to search for this error, and who've made finding rare coins into a serious hobby or even a second career. The beautiful thing is that searching for these errors doesn't require significant upfront investment. You're not buying expensive coins hoping they'll appreciate. You're simply looking through coins that are already in circulation, coins that you can obtain at face value, and if you find something valuable, everything above face value is pure profit. It's one of the few areas in investing or collecting where the barrier to entry is essentially zero, where anyone regardless of their financial situation can participate, and where the potential rewards are astronomical if you happen to get lucky. The 2015p brockage nickel also illustrates how quickly information spreads in the modern numismatic world. Within days of the first specimen being announced, coin dealers across the country were calling their contacts at banks asking if they could buy boxes of nickels. Collectors were ordering rolls online from regions where 2015p nickels were most likely to be found based on mint distribution patterns, and metal detector enthusiasts were checking Coinstar reject bins with renewed vigor. hoping to find errors that other people had accidentally fed into the machine. The hunt became a phenomenon, with YouTube videos explaining what to look for, blog posts documenting search results, and forum threads tracking finds and theories about how many might exist. This collective energy and enthusiasm is one of the most beautiful aspects of coin collecting. It's not just about individual treasure hunters working in isolation. It's about a community of passionate people sharing information, celebrating each other's finds, and helping newcomers learn the hobby. The grading of error coins like the 2015 brockage is both art and science. The numerical grade reflects the coin's physical condition, including factors like luster, contact marks, strike quality, and eye appeal. But for error coins, there's also the question of how dramatic or complete the error is. And this can significantly impact value even between coins with the same numerical grade. A full brockage with sharp, clear mirror imaging will always be more valuable than a weak or partial brockage. And a brockage centered perfectly on the planchet will generally be more desirable than one that's off-center, even if both have similar surface preservation. This means that when you're searching for errors, you're not just looking for any example of the error type, you're looking for the best example you can find, the one with the strongest strike, the clearest definition, the fewest distractions, because that's the one that'll command top dollar when you decide to sell. Now let's talk about the market for ultra-rare modern errors like this 2015 brockage. The collector base for these coins is global and incredibly diverse, including traditional numismatists who've been collecting for decades, new collectors who were drawn in by viral videos and social media posts about valuable coins, investors who view rare errors as alternative assets that can appreciate independent of stock market movements, and wealthy individuals who simply enjoy owning unique objects that nobody else can have. When a genuine rarity comes to market, these various groups compete with each other, driving prices to levels that often surprise even the sellers, and creating a dynamic market where yesterday's record price might be tomorrow's starting bid. The beauty of error coins is that unlike many collectibles where value is largely subjective and based on aesthetic preferences, errors have objective rarity that can be quantified. We know approximately how many were made. We know approximately how many survive. We can calculate rarity ratios and use those to justify valuations, and this objective framework makes the market more stable and predictable than it might otherwise be. The story of the 2015 brockage nickel is still being written because new examples continue to be discovered, though at a very slow rate. Every few months another specimen surfaces. Someone finds one in an old coin jar or buys a roll from the bank and hits the jackpot. And each new find reminds us that the treasure hunt is never really over, that there are always more coins out there waiting to be found, and that the next big discovery could happen at any moment. This ongoing possibility keeps the excitement alive in the collecting community and ensures that people remain engaged with the hobby year after year, decade after decade, passing their knowledge and passion down to new generations of collectors who'll continue the search long after we're gone. As we reach the end of our journey through these incredible nickels, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. We've seen how a 1999 nickel can be worth $6 million due to wrong planchet errors. We've discovered how a 2015 nickel can command $2.4 million because of a spectacular full brockage. And we've learned that these treasures are still out there in circulation, still waiting to be found by someone who knows what to look for and has the dedication to actually search. The world of error coins is vast and endlessly fascinating, filled with stories of incredible finds, heartbreaking near misses, and life-changing discoveries. And the best part is that you can be part of this world. You can start searching today, right now, with the coins already in your possession, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next person to make headlines with an incredible discovery. So take everything you've learned here today, go examine your change, check those old coin jars, buy some rolls from your bank and search through them carefully, Invest in a good magnifying glass and a scale. Educate yourself about what errors look like and how to spot them. And never, ever dismiss a coin as ordinary without giving it a proper examination, because you might be holding a fortune without even knowing it. The nickels we've discussed today prove beyond any doubt that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places, that miracles do happen, and that pocket change really can change your life if you're willing to look closely enough. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this deep dive into rare nickels. I hope you found it as exciting and enlightening as I have, and I hope the next time you receive a nickel and change, you'll think about what we've discussed here and take just a moment to examine it carefully, because you never know when lightning might strike. Remember, the hunt is half the fun, the discovery is the dream, and the possibility is what keeps us all searching. So get out there, start looking, and who knows, maybe we'll be hearing your success story next. Until then, keep collecting, keep searching, and keep believing in the magic of rare coins. Because in this hobby, dreams really do come true, and fortunes really do hide in plain sight, waiting for someone just like you to find them.